In recent years, many people around the world have struggled with rising prices. In 2022, inflation hit around 10% in places like US, UK, and Europe. That means everyday things like groceries, rent, and gas became 10% more expensive in just 1 year. For example, if a gallon of milk cost $3 in 2021, it would have cost around $3.30 in 2022. This increase may not seem huge at first, but when nearly everything rises in price, it adds up quickly. Families on tight budgets feel this the most because essentials like food, housing, and transportation take up a significant portion of their income. Thankfully, inflation has slowed down, but that doesn't mean prices are falling. It just means they're not rising as fast. And that's still frustrating for families and businesses. At the same time, experts often say that a little inflation is actually good. But how can that be? If rising prices make life harder, wouldn't it be better if prices just stayed the same? Why do governments allow inflation at all? The first thing to understand is that most governments and central banks want a little inflation. Many countries aim for about 2% inflation per year. This target is not random. It's chosen to help the economy grow steadily. A controlled level of inflation encourages economic activity, ensuring that people and businesses keep making financial decisions that sustain growth. If inflation were too low, the economy could stagnate, while high inflation could make basic necessities unaffordable. Here's how it works. Number 1. People spend money sooner. When prices slowly rise, people are more likely to buy things now instead of waiting. For example, if you know a laptop will be slightly more expensive next year, you might decide to purchase it today rather than waiting, which keeps businesses making sales. If a car costs $20,000 today but might cost $21,000 next year, you might buy it sooner. This prevents unnecessary delays in spending, ensuring businesses maintain consistent cash flow. If everyone postponed purchases, companies might struggle to make profits, leading to job losses and economic slowdown. That helps businesses keep selling products and making profits. Number 2. Businesses grow and create jobs. If businesses make more money, they can afford to hire more workers and pay them better wages. More jobs mean people have more money to spend, which keeps the economy moving. This cycle of spending, business expansion, and job creation is a core principle of economic growth. When demand for products and services increases, companies need more workers to meet this demand. This, in turn, results in a stronger job market and higher incomes for workers. This cycle of spending and hiring is crucial for a healthy economy. When businesses expand, they need more employees. And when people have jobs, they spend more money, further boosting businesses. Number 3. Wages rise. If inflation rises slow and steady, companies can gradually increase wages along with prices. That way, even if things cost a little more, people can still afford them. The key is making sure wages go up at the same pace as prices. If inflation rises too fast and wages don't keep up, people lose purchasing power, making it harder to afford necessities. On the other hand, if wages grow too fast without matching productivity, companies might struggle with higher labor costs and pass those costs on to consumers, fueling more inflation. For example, if inflation is 2% per year and wages rise by 2%, then even though prices are higher, people's purchasing power remains stable. Inflation is helpful when it stays under control, but if prices rise too quickly, like they did in 2022, it creates big problems. Families struggle to pay for essentials, and businesses can't keep up with rising costs. High inflation can also erode savings. If prices rise too fast, the money people have saved loses value because it buys less over time. Sometimes inflation gets out of control because of events like these. Number 1. Supply shortages. When there aren't enough goods to meet demand, like computer chips or oil, prices jump. A lack of critical materials forces companies to charge more. And when shortages persist, inflation remains high for an extended period. Number 2. Companies raising prices too much. Some businesses increase prices just to make bigger profits, which adds to inflation. This is sometimes called greedflation, where companies raise prices beyond what is necessary to cover costs, using inflation as an excuse. While some price increases are justified due to rising costs, excessive price hikes driven purely by profit motives can worsen inflationary pressure. Number 3. Too much money in the system. If there's too much money circulating, people spend more, and demand pushes prices up. This can happen when governments print too much money or when banks lend too easily, flooding the economy with cash. When money supply grows too fast compared to the production of goods and services, it leads to higher demand than supply, making everything more expensive. To slow inflation down, governments take action. One of the most common tools is raising interest rates. When inflation is too high, central banks increase interest rates. This makes borrowing money more expensive. That affects the following. Number 1. Home loans. Mortgage payments go up, so fewer people buy houses. For example, if interest rates rise from 3% to 6%, monthly mortgage payments increase significantly, making homeownership less affordable. Number 2. Car loans. It costs more to finance a car, so people wait to buy one. If a car loan has a higher interest rate, monthly payments become too expensive, leading people to delay their purchases. Number 3. Credit cards. Interest rates rise, making debt more expensive. For individuals carrying a balance on their credit cards, higher interest rates mean they pay more in interest charges each month, reducing their disposable income. When borrowing becomes harder, people and businesses spend less. That lowers demand, slowing the inflation. But there's a downside. Slowing the economy can lead to job losses, making life even tougher for some people. A balance must be found between controlling inflation and ensuring that economic growth continues at a steady pace. If inflation is bad, wouldn't falling prices be good? Not really. When prices drop too much, the economy can enter deflation, which creates a new set of problems. Here's what happens during deflation. Number 1. People stop buying. If you think a phone will be cheaper next month, you'll wait to buy it. If everyone waits, businesses sell less. This leads to a vicious cycle where companies struggle to make profits, causing them to reduce production and investment. Number 2. Companies lose money. When businesses make less money, they cut costs, lay off workers, and stop expanding. A business that sees lower sales may close stores, reduce worker hours, or even shut down entirely. Number 3. Jobs disappear. With fewer jobs, people have less money to spend, and the economy slows down even more. As unemployment rises, consumer spending drops further, worsening the economic downturn. A major deflation crisis happened during the Great Depression in the 1930s. It was so bad that it resulted in World War II to help economies recover. Governments responded by increasing public spending and creating jobs through war. This shows how dangerous deflation can be, as it often requires drastic measures to recover from. The goal is to find the right balance. Not too much inflation, but not too little either. A small, steady increase in prices, around 2%, helps keep businesses running, workers employed, and wages growing. If inflation ever falls too close to zero, there's a risk it could turn into deflation, which is even harder to fix. So while inflation can be frustrating, it's also a key part of a healthy economy. The trick is keeping it under control so that wages rise alongside prices. That way, people can afford what they need, businesses can keep growing, and the economy stays strong. Inflation isn't inherently bad. It just needs to be managed carefully to ensure long-term stability and prosperity.